Before we observe the oppression of the Chinese people, it is important to understand what oppression is. Oppression is the exercise of authority or power in a burdensome, cruel, or unjust manner. Oppression is the stripping of basic human rights. Oppression is the government preventing people of opportunities and freedom. While every country and person defines freedom differently, all people deserve the right to freedom of oppression. The Chinese view human rights different than we do here in America. We see human rights as freedom of speech, movement, and religion. The Chinese see economic, social, and political rights as national culture and a level of development rather than human rights. All human rights are ignored and less valuable than the four cardinal principles. In short, these principles are about upholding communist beliefs and respecting the leaders. Communism is the idea to replace private property and a profit-based economy with public ownership and communal control of major means of production. Ever wonder why most of our goods are branded with Made in China? Wages are much lower, and thus companies profit by creating goods in China. The government controls the production and wages set for the Chinese people. All people make the same wages despite their work efforts. People are prevented from moving up in the system and are not rewarded for working harder. The people are given no freedom to move up and are stuck in the system they started in. The Chinese prevented their citizens from having more than one child without being heavily taxed. The idea was to control population and have enough goods for the people. Instead of the one-child policy having benefits, this led to many citizens hiding the existence of a child or killing a female child because men children were preferred. A small change occurred in 2013 during the Third Plenum. This was a gathering of Communist Party leaders to change the economic policy. They gave the market a way to set prices rather than the government setting them. The one-child policy was weakened. The meeting was viewed as a win for the Chinese people. However, this was a bad change for the Chinese people. 3 communist officials were found supporting civil and human rights and were thus sent to prison. While the citizens could typically get away with not supporting the government, this began a crackdown. This was a message that the government would not tolerate any more opposition. Citizens were not given the opportunity to think negatively of the government. In 2015, the Chinese government decided to give all citizens a score from 350 to 950 that was linked to their ID card. The ID card before measured financial credit, and it would now measure political agreement as well. Having a negative opinion towards the government lowered your score. Having a friend with a negative opinion lowered your score. If you had a high score, the government would grant you more privileges. People were not directly punished for stating their beliefs, but they would not receive benefits if they did. Knowing someone with wrong beliefs would hurt you. The Chinese government is trying to control both your thoughts and your friends. The Chinese government controls the lives of the Chinese citizens. The citizens lack basic human rights and cannot speak out on the government. With no way of changing the system, the Chinese will continue to be oppressed in their own country. To learn more about the oppression of the Chinese, you can view these links.